Okay, let's move on to Arsenal. So, regarding Arsenal, I did see the news that they will be bidding for Declan Rice pretty soon, maybe next week or the week after. And I think they do have an edge over Manchester United and Bayern Munich as well. Bayern Munich is again, it's in Germany, and Declan Rice is an English player. He recently won the European trophy in the Conference League with West Ham, which is a fantastic achievement, I think, for David Moyes, West Ham, and Declan Rice. But Jish Meister, what do you think is going to happen with Declan Rice? You guys seem pretty confident. Do you think he solves your issues? And if it does, what happens to Thomas Partey and who was the other Chelsea guy that you got? Jorginho.
Jorginho, yes. So before I talk about the 4 or 5 players that are linked with us, I just want to quickly run by a little bit of a story. Since I have been an Arsenal fan, the season I really started following Arsenal was the season we went invincibles. Since then, this is the fourth project that I'm seeing. Project number one was right after the invincible season. We were still high, in terms of valuation of players and things like that, but we were starting to lose the Henrys, the Vieiras, the Bergkamps were retiring, the Perez's, and all these greats. There came a wave of bunch of young talent, players like Eduardo, Carlos Vela, Alexander Leb, Thomas Rosicki, Cesc Fabregas, um, Gail Clichy, Bakary Sania. You know the names. Eventually, then uh, a couple of years later, 3 4 years later, Samir Nasri, Robin van Persie was effectively a part of that project. Emmanuel Adebayor, but that project also involved something big, which was constructing a brand new stadium, and which meant we had to constantly every year, every season, sell one or two of our best assets every year for high valuation. At the time, those were high valuation transfer fees that we were getting just to pay off the stadium. That was the first project that I saw. The second project that I saw was the Ozil Sanchez era, once the stadium was built. And we were still not fully owned by the Cronkies. It was still, three different owners, Uzmanov, Cronkies, and there was somebody else too. And we would buy one marquee signing a year. And then there would be other players that were not good. Really, really, they were not good. We still stayed in the top four. And then the third and the Doomsday Project, the worst one ever, was the last season of Wenger and then Unai Emery and then the first season of Arteta. These 4 years, we saw players like Lacazette, Aubameyang, a bunch of other players, host of older players, David Luiz's, Cedric Suarez's, the Kolasinac's and Mustafi's and all sorts of players that there was no future, there was no game plan as to how that project would really, you know, out what would be the outcome of that project. But today I stand here, after two completed seasons of this project, where we have had mass changes, if you recall. The season before the last, well, the one that just recently concluded, we got Ramsdale, we got, Gabriel, we got Tomiyasu, we got Ben White, we got Odegaard, right? And the following season, we got Zinchenko, Saliba practically being a new signing, Gabriel Jesus. And obviously, this included some of our youth coming up too, like Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli being an absolute steal of a transfer player. Thomas Partey was the season before too. Yeah, I just recalled. So now, what we have right now, if you guys have seen the current transfer market valuation, the fourth highest valuation in terms of world football. The first highest, we're the fourth most valuable club in world football. That was not there. We were not even in the top 15, just literally 2.5 years back. We were not. So that fills me up with optimism. And the biggest part of the transfer window this season would have been, oh, hi Bong Scouser. We're talking Arsenal
Hello.
transfers right now. Yeah. So the biggest goal for the past 6 months for this our entire negotiation and Edu and his team was as much as to bring in top players was to retain these high valuation players. What would have been the point to develop all these players and sell half of them, right? But I can proudly say today that Bukayo Saka has renewed his contract, Martinelli renewed his contract, Ramsdale has, William Saliba, very recently breaking news, from David Ornstein and Fabrizio's report as well, has agreed a new deal as well. Gabriel Magalhaes, Martin Odegaard. So anyway, the biggest core of the young players that hold the most value in our team have now all renewed. They're all staying in Arsenal, and if somebody wants to get them, they're going to pay big, big money for them. There's no way they're leaving Arsenal without us getting big money for them. They're all on long-term contracts. Now, moving on to incoming contracts. So the first part is making sure that the core of the squad stays, and that for sure, as you guys can already tell, we have got them nailed on to stay with Arsenal. They believe in the project with Arteta, and the fans singing our hearts out, and we believe that something big is coming. Now, on to the incomings. Declan Rice has been touted as our marquee signing for the season. Obviously, there's a difference in valuation. West Ham wants as much as they can. Obviously, they probably want around 105 or 110. That might be the case that we might pay with add-ons or whatever, but we probably don't want to spend more than 85 to 90. So I think this deal is going to get done. He wants Arsenal. He said so, again, from credible sources, from the A-list journalists. He does not prefer going to Bayern Munich. And Manchester United would probably be his second choice. But you never count him out just because, just as we saw in the January transfer market, Mykhailo Mudryk was literally twerking for Arsenal on TikTok videos. And he wanted to join Arsenal, but eventually went to Chelsea just because we did not meet the valuation. But I don't think Arsenal and its hierarchy feel the same about Declan Rice. He is the youngest captain that West Ham has ever had. And he's a European champion. He is a role model. He has 41 caps for England already at the age of 24. I see him, crossing 150 caps by the time he ends his career with England too, with the Three Lions. He would be a fantastic addition. He's a leader. He's somebody who can carry the ball. He can score long range goals as well. He keeps the ball moving. He's fantastic at defending, tackling. I think he's just the perfect purchase for us. He can play two roles. He can play number 6. He can play number 8. So why not him? And I think this deal is happening. I'm almost certain that this deal will happen over the next 2 weeks before he heads off to the Three Lions camp for the European qualifiers or the Nations
What do
League.
you think will be the price though?
I think we will probably end up at around 90 million plus 20 millions in add-on. That's what I probably think it will happen.
Is that a club record free?
It will be,
Yes.
yeah. It will be, yes, 100%.
And are you comfortable with that, spending
For this
that?
guy, I wouldn't have been with Mykhailo Mudryk if we would have spent 85, 90 million. But for Declan Rice, I think even though Odegaard is the captain, but in reality, he will become our true captain. He will. And he will start every game, 100%. His injury record is stellar. Tierney had that, ability, but in terms of, the leadership qualities, and Zinchenko too. But these are not guys that I see, somebody who's... I see weaknesses in Zinchenko's game, and Tierney is not the best fit for Arteta's style of gameplay. We are going to talk about that in the third player that I'm going to be mentioning very soon. We might be keeping Tierney as well. So that's Declan Rice for you. That's the news.
What happens to Thomas Partey and Jorginho?
I'll come to that. I'll come to it. So
Before you move on, Dishmeister, so a quick question. So, given I mean, there has been a lot of discussions about the transfer of Enzo Fernandez last season to Chelsea. So, I mean, if you had the chance to sign Enzo Fernandez or Declan Rice, whom would you choose?
Declan Rice, any day of the week. And I'm not saying this in an unbiased way, guys. You got to understand this. I'll give you another example. If you tell me tomorrow, would you sign... give me a name of a dynamic attacking midfielder, somebody who can also defend, just like Odegaard, but somebody else. Anybody else?
SMS.
Let's take the example of Mason Mount. Okay, Mason Mount.
What about Goretzka?
Goretzka is more defensive. He's not more attacking. I'm talking about like an Odegaard guy, somebody who tracks back yet is also an attacking midfielder. That sort of a player. If you tell me right now, would I pay 100 million for Federico Valverde, I would tell you yes. If you tell me, would I pay 110 million for Nkunku? I would say yes. There's certain players that I mean, I follow football to a certain level, and Declan Rice is that guy for me. He's not the same as the Chelsea guy you're talking about, Enzo Fernandez. He might be, he may become, but Declan Rice has proven it for the past 5 years in the Premier League. I've seen him perform match in, match out, match in, match out. So
Yeah,
there's no comparison. So anyway,
unbelievable consistency.
absolutely. So I mean, let me
He's
finish
the
the list
man who almost single-handedly carries West Ham.
on a regular basis.
Almost single-handedly.
Absolutely. So I mean, that guy, I have no doubts that if we, complete that deal, we will have a midfield rock, absolute rock. Now, going on to the other deals before I talk about our existing squad and everything. So João Cancelo is being touted to come in. This is in response. You probably guys already know that we were looking to get a centre back coverage. We cannot just depend on William Saliba and Gabriel, right? We do have the left-footed Jakub Kiwior, but we still needed another centre back for cover. Rob Holding was never going to cut it. However, we found an internal solution. We have Tomiyasu and we have Ben White. Ben White is a fantastic centre back who can definitely cover for Saliba. So buying a right back, and we have two options right now. It's Ivan Fresneda. That guy plays for Real Valladolid. Fantastic player, right in the realm of the inverted fullback model, and Valladolid has been playing that game as well. And João Cancelo. Obviously, our valuation is 35 million for Cancelo. City won 45 million. We are negotiating. Pep does not want to keep him. Cancelo
45 million for Cancelo?
That's what they want. City won, but we want to pay not more than.
That's still a steal, I would say.
It
Even
is.
45 million
But
is a
he's-
steal for Cancelo.
However, he's 29 years old. You got to understand this.
Before
yes, of course.
before we go into this, I just want to ask everyone: is it fair that Pep Guardiola is just selling players to Arsenal like for the last 2 seasons? I mean, there are rumors about Gundogan and Cancelo as well. That's not fair. That should be a FFP charge, like 116 charge. That selling players to I don't know, like Arteta and company, because we want to buy more players, and you
We
give
have a
us money to do that.
very good relationship. But let me finish off the list, and then I'll answer all of your criticisms. Just hold
I
your
think
horses. Hold your horses,
apologies,
guys.
Master. Just want to
Yeah.
just I want to add one point because I like to leave. So I think
Oh, okay,
the point that Stroll mentioned, right? So I think Pep Guardiola is using Arsenal as his dumping ground because number one, all the players that are retiring, all the players that are growing up, he is just using them as a second fiddle. Whatever you're done at Man City, go and do it at Arsenal. That's it. So he's just trying to make Arsenal a kind of a what can you say, a subsidiary of City Group, something like that.
he is. These are not dumped
These
out
are not
players.
bad players. These are not
They
bad
were
players,
not
man.
dumped. They wanted to leave, and Guardiola is the type of manager that is never going to stand in the way of players that wanted to leave. Same thing with Cancelo as well. He did not meet eye to eye with the rotational stuff that Guardiola was doing. Do you think Gundogan, after the season he's had, Pep Guardiola would not want to renew him? Manchester City is one
They
of the
want
best.
to renew.
Yeah,
They want to renew.
yeah, absolutely. But he wants a longer contract. So there's obviously differences. So anyway, it's not that these players are the David Luizes of Chelsea and
Willian.
Williams of Chelsea. No. These are not. That's not comparable. Jesus is 25, just going to turn 26
Yeah.
this year. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, as far as Cancelo is concerned, he wanted to go to Barcelona, but Barcelona played a dirty game in January. He was set on not going to Bayern Munich in January. He was going to go to Barcelona, but Barca played a dirty game, and now they have soured relationships with. Rebu, we'll see you. Thank you so much.
Review, by the way, I think Newcastle are or very close to signing James Madison.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is it?
Yes,
Not-
we are leading. We are leading.
I thought it was Spurs. Okay.
Sorry for the bad news
I,
before
I
you
think
leave.
I think he's
Will-
not that level.
will
He's
see
not that
that.
level as people
Is
make
that
out of
for
him. I mean,
is that for 75 million? Because that's all
No,
your budget.
it's no, it's
But
it's
who
around
reported that?
55 to 60. We'll come to that. That 75 million will come to that, but the figure is around probably 60, 55 to 60.
Leicester will ask 60 million. That's mad. They got just
Oh,
relegated. I don't know
yeah,
how.
yeah. But they will get it.
He's not even a 60
I
million
know
player, I think.
I know what the Bonk Scouts are saying, but we'll talk about Madison when we speak Newcastle next.
Mhm.
So that's Cancelo for you. He is touted to come to Arsenal, but we don't know whether it's going to happen or he's going to go to Juventus or Barcelona. Maybe we never know. But he's one of the rumors. I'm not saying he's a 90%. Not at all. Not at all. It could be him. It could be Ivan Fresneda. But there's a high chance that we will get a right back for sure that can play inverted, and that might compel Arteta to keep Tierney back, because if we get an inverted right back, then we can have the rotation of Zinchenko sitting out and Tierney playing the defensive left back, converting to the back three that we typically have with Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel when we have Zinchenko slotting into the midfield. So that's for the right back position. Gundogan wants Barcelona too, but Barcelona has issues with money and wages and registering players. So, however, per Mertesacker, who's our youth team manager, who has played with Gundogan for the German national team. During the Champions League broadcasting, said that Man City has fantastic relations with Arsenal, and there's a very high chance that Gundogan may be heading to the Emirates. But we'll see. I'm going to give it a solid 60% chance of this happening. Caicedo is another guy that is very heavily linked with us. Not sure if that's going to happen. I don't think we'll have the financial budget, even though we are told that we have a 250 million budget. We'll see if that happens or not. But Caicedo wants Arsenal. This much, some of the top tier news outlets have mentioned. Caicedo loves Arsenal. However, he's a very strong candidate for Chelsea as well. We'll see if he wants to go to a Champions League club or a club that is not going to be in the Champions League. And there's some other rumors about Federico Chiesa, but he's also linked to Liverpool as well. We'll see. I would rather have a backup for the right wing spot.
I don't think he's linked to Liverpool.
He is. He was yesterday.
No, I mean, no reliable journalist is talking about
Same
Federico Chiesa.
Same thing. Arsenal. It's not like the Orange Teens. These are not like the Glenn Jake, not the Ben Jacobs, not the Fabrizios. But I'm just saying these are the rumors out there. But the main ones: Declan, Gundogan, Cancelo, Fresneda, and Caicedo. These are the biggest links for us. Now, answering Saul's question, I want to just make this clear to you guys about Partey and Jorginho. Jorginho has one more year left. Okay, that's it. He only has had an 18-month contract. We are going to be in the Champions League, and this season, I'm just letting you know, not only is it my expectation, it's all fans' expectation. We expect this season to be a title challenging season. Just like the kind of expectations Liverpool have, going into a season normally, that's the kind of expectations we have now. It's no more top four. Top four is no longer good enough. We need a big trophy. So we have big expectations of our club this year. So we need a bigger squad. You've seen injuries happen all year round. We do not have the bench strength. Players like Rob Holding's going to go out. Xhaka's going to go out. There's a lot of players that's going to be, we have a lot of players that are out on loan as well. The Cedric Suarez's and all, they're going to be gone. We're done with them. So now we need to build a squad that can absolutely, a squad of 18 to 20 players that can play. We have seen just a little bit of a news. Emil Smith-Rowe, even though he's on holidays, has already gone to Saudi Arabia to train for 2 weeks so that he's ready for preseason. He's not waiting for preseason to get back into shape. He's doing warm weather training for 2 weeks just to be ready for preseason. He did not like what happened to him last season. He's our number 10, and he is looking to make a comeback next season. We are going to buy 2-3 players for sure this season so that our strength is there, so that we don't have this predicament where we have to play with the same set of 11 or 12 players all season long. The only thing that I'm not seeing is a forward player being heavily linked. I want that. I don't see Balogun coming back. I think Balogun's going to be sold as well for 40-50 million. We'll see. He had a fantastic season in Ligue 1, but I want us to buy a forward too. But that's it. I hope I was able to answer your question, Saul. Partey, Jorginho, we need a midfield, 5, 6, 7 players to be in a squad. We only have Odegaard. We have Emil Smith-Rowe. We're going to have Declan Rice. We're going to have Partey. We're going to have Jorginho. Who else is there? That's 5. You need 6 players to compete on all fronts. We're not going to have Xhaka. He's going to leave. We're not going to consider Lokonga. Lokonga is probably going to be sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lokonga is going to be sold, and then so we need.
I just feel that from an Arsenal perspective, I get the squad depth issue. There was definitely an issue in the last season. That's the reason why you couldn't challenge City at the end. But I feel a number 9 or a striker should have been the priority. I get the Declan Rice link, and of course, if you can back someone like Declan Rice, you should do it. Clearly, if you have the budget, but I still feel it's kind of like it's a bit tacky that Guardiola is selling players to Arsenal. It's just weird because they are getting the money to buy more players, City. Because
No,
of
this is a free
FFP taken out.
transfer. It's a free transfer. Gundogan is a free transfer.
I'm not talking about Gundogan. I'm talking about like Cancelo. It's not free.
But players like Cancelo would get the valuation, I think, anywhere else also.
Anywhere else, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
don't
not
sell
like
it to Arsenal. Arsenal, I mean, realistically, they were the only team that challenged City last season, right? And one might
Yeah.
say one of the reasons why they could do that is because Zinchenko was, I mean, although he was injured, he did play a role in, at least in the first half of the season, where
Yeah.
coming in as an inverted fullback, he provided
he made a
new
difference.
dynamic. Yeah, and same with Gabriel Jesus as well. Again, he was probably injured and absent in most of the games around the season, but in the first half, these two players were the dominant players that changed how Arsenal generally play to what they play right now. And
You're partially right.
Why would
but
Pep do
maybe,
that?
but maybe
I don't think
Pep is
City.
super
I don't think
confident.
City.
They're
Guardiola
confident.
fears Arsenal.
Exactly. He's probably not afraid. Till we do something, he's probably not really afraid. And I don't know whether both of these players are going to come. I don't think both of them are going to
Yeah, I
happen.
don't think.
Yeah.
I think you get more the Fresneda, that guy.
Yeah, I think Gundogan
Maybe
might
you're wrong.
happen. I have a feeling with Gundogan, but Cancelo might not happen. I don't think Cancelo is going to happen. That's just my opinion. But that's the news from Arsenal's front.
Real Madrid also need a right back, right? I think they can go for Cancelo. They don't have a right back, right? It's Carvajal, who's probably aged 50 years.
Right.
No, they
Okay.
also have this other guy who plays winger. I can't remember his name. Who occasionally
Oh,
plays
that. Yeah. Lucas Vasquez. No,
Lucas Vazquez. Yeah, that guy.
He's not a right back. He's not a right back.
He's a right wing
He's
back.
not right back, but he has been playing there for a number of seasons.
Yeah,
now,
but
so.
they could do with Cancelo. If it's the price is 40 million, would Vishnu say that that's a
I
steal?
I think there are question marks over Cancelo's attitude as well.
Of course, there is. Arteta probably might not want that. That's it.
So that might actually caution teams to buy him.
Thank you for watching that video. We are a community of passionate football fans, and we post weekly videos on transfer news, match reactions, tactical analysis, and sometimes just gossip on the most exciting sport in the world. If that's what you like to hear, then hit that subscribe button and join the conversation with us.